So we're talking about finding your first car. You want it to look good, be safe, and be reliable for at least a year or two, and be in the $2,500, $3,000, maybe even the $3,500 range. Now, I'm not going to kid you, that's kind of a tall order, but it can be done, and this is a couple ways to do it. The first thing to keep in mind is that unless you're buying your car from a mechanic that you or your family already know pretty well, stay away from cars that people have owned for less than a year. People that are selling cars they haven't had long are normally trying to flip them to make money, in which case you're probably going to pay too much, or because they bought it to drive and found out that there was something wrong with it. Now, buying a car from a good mechanic that, again, you or someone you trust is known for a long time, that's a different story. Good mechanics happen in the cars all the time. That's their business. They'll take a car they already know is pretty solid, a lot of times from a customer who's looking to buy a new one, and they'll go through it, do brakes, check the suspension, do a tune-up if it needs it, whatever it takes to make it a reasonably reliable car, and then sell it for a few $100s more than what they've got into it. It's kind of a side thing. The nice thing about a good mechanic that's been around for a while is that they're not going to sell a car that's about to fall apart to a good customer. Now, really where I go when I'm looking for a $3,000 car is right around where I live. When it's game on, I'm going to start looking at every car that we talked about in the last video when I'm out running errands right around my house. And here's how to do that. The next time you're out trying to stay out of trouble, heading to the library, keep your eyes peeled for a car like what we've been talking about, being driven by an older, more experienced driver. Now that part's important. And when you do see a car and a driver that fits that picture, stop and talk with them. Tell them how great their car is and that you're looking to buy one just like it for your first car and see where it goes. I can't tell you how many cars I've bought from people that I just started talking to at a gas station or a grocery store, or in their driveway standing next to the kind of car I was looking for. Now, chances are, even if you go slow and you're being respectful, you're going to get shot down. But you never know what somebody else is thinking until you start talking with them. And maybe they are thinking about a new car. Maybe thinking that they've got a buyer for their current car will get them moving on getting a new car, and everybody gets a new car. So, now keep in mind, this is a particular situation. You're looking for a little older car, being driven by a little older, more experienced driver, where the odds are better that they might be looking for a new car. The chances of walking up to a younger driver, even if they're driving the right car, isn't as high that they're looking for a new one. And be sure to be safe about it. You see the right car in your neighborhood or the gas station, say something. Don't start yelling at another driver, especially an older driver, while they're driving down the road. They'll call the police on you. Now, while you're out cruising around looking for your first car, there is a specific kind of used car lot that you can stop at. Not just any used car lot, but a real specific one. Let me explain. These days, most car dealerships are part of dealership groups. And it's really common for the Ford store, the Honda store, Toyota store, all of them to be owned by the same person. And what happens a lot of times now is that person will open up a used car lot to sell the trade-ins that they get from all the dealers in the group that are right around the price and a little bit more that we're talking about. So the only issue there is going that route. The cars that we're looking at are going to be priced a little higher than what you want to pay, probably in the $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 range. And you're going to have to work them to get them down to your budget, which is a whole nother video. So if you'd like to see how to do that, throw something down in comments. Now, really fast, I want to finish up with what I know a lot of you are thinking, which is, what about Marketplace, Craig's, eBay, and those? And what you need to know there is that you can find the right car online, but it's not as easy as you might think. Good rule of thumb is that if you see a possibility online, it needs to be have just been posted, like that day, maybe even the last hour. And the reason for that is that if you're trying to find a car online, you're competing with people who live online, searching for the right cars that they can buy for the right price that they can then flip and make money on. I was helping a friend's daughter not long ago and got snaked twice in the same day by the same guy who showed up just before I did and snagged the cars before I got there. And then I know it was the same guy because I saw both $2,500 cars, only now they were on little lots being advertised on Craigslist for $49.95. So the lesson there is that while it might feel like there's a ton of cars online, the fact is that to snag the right one means catching it right when it gets posted, being really ready to buy, and then getting to the car and making sure that it's everything the seller says it is in a really short period of time, which in my opinion makes it about the toughest way to buy your first car. Remember, most of the cars we're talking about, they're not going to come with a warranty. When you hand over your money, that car is yours. And if you hand over your money and you jump in it, put it in reverse and the transmission falls out, well, guess who gets to pay for the tow truck? Which in my opinion makes buying from a mechanic or your neighbor or a dealer group that might give you a little warranty just a much better way to go. And remember, there's no harm in looking around to narrow down what you want your first car to be. But when you're really ready to buy your first car, you're going to want to be really, really ready to go, which is what we're going to talk about in the next video. So any questions on this one, throw them in comments. Please give it a like if you picked up something, and I'll see you in the next video. Game on.